back to race 9 and race 10 of the Online Racing League V8 Supercar Series here at Bathurst, guys, for this race, this weekend's race, the 5th weekend of the season, guys. And moving on into this race, I had done about 1 lap's worth of practice. Now, I had also done a Project Cars endurance race about an hour before this one, hence why I hadn't been able to put any practice laps in, guys. If you want to go check out that Project Cars race as well, that will be on my second channel. If you want a link to that, go find it on my channel. It's Matt212 race highlights, etc, etc. But I'm just going to talk whilst we go on for this qualifying lap. Now, this was actually my quickest lap of the session, and as you can see, halfway around I got the most bullshit invalidation I think I've ever witnessed. I'm pretty certain I only had 2 wheels off the track, and the game decided, you know, that was enough, which I would have been like fairly high up in B lobby, but I wouldn't have been A lobby pace still after 1 lap worth of practice, guys. But moving on into this race, you know, it was going to be one of those races where it's just going to be who can keep it at the walls the best and avoid getting the most damage. So obviously it'll be very, very interesting to see how we go on during this race. Now, my setup was appalling, in a word. I was losing around 15 miles an hour down the straights, which, let's be fair, is impossible to regain. Like, my up the mountain section, my car was probably near enough a second quicker than most of the guys in this B lobby, but unfortunately, during going down the straights, down like Sector 3 and Sector 1, I was losing about 1.5 to 2 seconds. You'll see in the race how much time I lose, guys. But, you know, I wasn't feeling too confident going on into this one, and it was just going to be one of those races, you know, where I wanted to get it over and done with and move on to the next race weekend, which I'm pretty certain is Rio, so not really too sure how far there. Hopefully I'll be able to do a bit more practice, as I don't have a Project Cars endurance race that evening there, so, you know, hoping that the pace can be a bit better next week. I'm still hoping that at least one time I can get into A lobby this season. It's kind of the aim still, but I just haven't been able to put the practice in over the last few weeks. I haven't really been getting into Forza as much as I had been, you know, in the earlier races of the season, guys. But coming around the final corner then of my quali lap, I think it's going to be a mid to high 2:08 there. Unfortunately, after the most annoying penalty I think I've ever had on this game. But actually, no, it's going to be a 2:09.9 there, which, you know, wasn't actually a particularly brilliant lap there, but, you know, it wasn't too bad either. But unfortunately, that left me down in last place for the race. You can see Birch is actually meant to be in the position ahead of me, guys. But, you know, starting from the back here, it's actually probably safer than starting from the mid-pack. So, you know, hoping that I can get a fairly good race here out of this. But, you know, lights out, and away we go. You can see Morvik and Birch and Sam there get off to absolute terrible starts. So I'm going to have a look round the outside, already up into P9 there nearly. As we go around Morvik into turn 1 there, you know, Morvik, one of my good friends, you know, hoping we can have some good battles with him in this race. You can just see that on the exit of turn 1, Psycho getting off to a pretty damn poor start as well there. Psycho, you know, having a lot of bad luck in this first race, as you will see further on during on. But you can see Birch already proving the point about how poor my straight line speed was. Unfortunately, I had to cut off Etz of Sand there because, you know, there was just no way I could go 3 wide up into rounds that corner. But, you know, I go back round the outside of Birch there. But, you know, hoping he doesn't get as good a run at the corner there, I go very defensive on him. Up towards the first part of the mountain section, you can see here. Basically just going to be how well can I keep it clean here, you know, hoping that a lot of other people do make mistakes and, you know, I can just capitalise, slip through in some easy positions there. Maybe, you know, if a couple of drivers do get damaged and we don't see a safety car, then I could be elevated up the order. But you can see they're going 3 wide just ahead of me there, up through the mountain section. Definitely not what's recommended here, but just so look how much better downforce I seem to have over everyone else. You know, I'm able to get the car turned in. Really nice there. Psycho running hugely wide. We do make a little bit of contact with him, but we're going to be having a look round the outside there. I do get late from the brakes and him hold it around the outside, but unfortunately he just turns in on me there, just catches on the rear quarter panel. And unfortunately, you know, we got that Forza glue system, if you want to call it that. Well, I just wasn't able to turn out of him there. I did apologise to him, and obviously there's nothing I can really do about that. And he kind of understood, you know, just it's happened so many times to so many drivers, you know, if you just get caught, there is no way you can catch the car from that. But you can just see, now coming down this long back straight, I'm still down in P10 there, unfortunately. And, you know, hoping that on the next couple of laps, I may be able to get up a couple of positions, but, you know, I need to stay with the sort of mid-pack, so, you know, I don't end up losing too much time here. As you can see, down the straight. But now moving on to the end of lap 2 here, and we've called back up to Birch. You can see he's getting running a little bit wide here. You know, I've got a lot of respect for Birch. We're both talking, and we both have a lot of respect for each other. So, you know, we're both very clean drivers when it comes around each other. So, you know, hoping we can have more battles during the season here. But just have a look at the straight line speed deficit. You know, we started this straight basically side by side. I probably had a little bit of a better run going down onto the straight, but just have a look, when I get up into 5th gear there, the car just doesn't bother going anymore. And I was hearing that some guys were getting near enough pushing 190 miles an hour here, and I'm barely scraping 174, which, not exactly what we want there. But Birch coming into the next couple of corners there, runs a little bit wide there. Not exactly what he wanted. We get a very, very good run, nearly going to the back of him there. But we're going to be having a look round the outside into the final corner here. It's going to be a very, very interesting place to try and make an overtake. But we do get later on the brakes there. He puts a wheel over the curb, and we somehow managed to go around his outside there. Very, very good move from myself, if I do say so myself. But, up into P9 now, but he's going to look up the inside in towards turn 1. They're going to go for a very, very late braking move. We're just going to try and go for the undercut on him there, but unfortunately, we can't maximise our run out the corner there as he does come onto the track a little bit aggressively there, but I saw it and I was absolutely fine with that. But now coming up straight, you can see Psycho once again with an absolutely incredible run there. He's just going to be able to go straight past me. He's going to try and thread the needle past Birch as well there. He's going to go very, very defensive in towards turn 1 there. Unfortunately for Psycho, he just gets tagged on the back end of there and just basically stops the car almost. And we're able to go right back round his outside and still manages to hold on once again. Back up into P10 now of this race, but you can just see coming into the next couple of corners, Birch just cannot get the car turned in there. He gets the weird understeer glitch, and I'm able to go right round his outside, around the next corner there. Not really textbook move once again, but we managed to make the position stick there, and we managed to go back up into P9 now of the race. And unfortunately for us, as you can see, there's a huge gap to the cars ahead of me here, but hoping around these next couple of laps, I may be able to close back in to the guys just ahead of me, and maybe we might be able to fight, for sort of P6, P5 here. But now, as you can see, moving on to the end of lap 4 here, we've got Feffinated just ahead of me now, one of the other ESC guys in this race here. He's actually got a lot of damage on his car at this point, as you can see. Got a lot of aero damage, hence why I was actually able to, stand a chance against having a drag race with him. You can just see with how much aero damage he's got, and how little I still managed to pull on him down that straight. It really says a lot. And I think it's pretty clear by going through the chase that he's also got quite a bit of brake damage there, as we've given the room on the inside there, as he just goes straight on there. I did ask him afterwards, and yeah, he did have brake damage. You can see, next up on my hit list, though, is now Morvik, and we're already up now into P8 now of this race. It's looking quite good for me now. As you can see, someone else has gone off. Maverick there, GFR Maverick, has unfortunately crashed off as well, though, so not exactly what he wanted. And now up into P7 we go now, guys, so very, very happy with that. And also now it has been announced that there will be a safety car in this race, so, we will be able to close back up to everyone else in the top half of the field there, so pretty damn well timed for myself there, guys. But now moving on then to the end of the safety car period. As you can see, we're right still behind Morvik there. GTR Ash has had to make a pit stop there, as he has got a lot of damage there. But hoping, we can maximise our run out of this incident. We've got Roman Karp just up there, and he's pretty damn well known now for making a lot of dive bombs. Hoping he can kind of screw everyone over. Just up ahead of me there, we could just see coming down towards turn 1 there. Morvik thinks about going for it. Roman Karp does go for the move, like I called there, so very, very easy to predict him there. And we somehow find a gap all the way through the middle there. Maverick, unfortunately, puts me into 0 there. So, unfortunately, nothing I can do there as Maverick just, turns back onto the track. But we went from P6 there to all the way up into P3 now. Birch, once again, going round my outside there. So, me and him having so many good battles during this race. But just coming into the next couple of corners there, Maverick and Birch both run a little bit wide. We're going to shift back down into second gear. They're trying to get the run out of the corner here. We're going to be looking side by side with Maverick up into the mountain section. He backs out of it there. I managed to go around the outside, make a little bit of contact with the wall. And unfortunately, we do manage to get around the outside there in the end. Unless I thought, I might get tapped a little bit there. But fortunately for me, we go up around the outside and we go from P12 to P2 now in this race, being just behind Scalzi. But, he's been absolutely dominating this first race. He's got very, very good tune, and he's also a very, very quick driver. But after another safety car period from another incident, we find ourselves right behind him here. So maybe, we could capitalise on it. But, I don't really have the pace to match him. So I'm not going to go for any ridiculous lunge down towards turn 1 here. I'd be much happier to defend my P2 in this race rather than trying to fight for a higher position. But, Roman Karp is now behind me. So, I've got to be watching for those dive bombs as we go up the hill, Anything, sort of within about 80 feet, you've got to really be careful of it. You can just see he's having a look up the inside from quite far back there, but he doesn't end up making the moves. I do go a bit defensive into the corner, and he does, fortunately for me, back out of it there. It's kind of hard to predict whether he's going to go for a move here, but just see coming up the top of the hill, we've got a very, very good run on Scalzi here, so maybe, we might be able to go for a move in the end, as we run a little bit wide there. Roman Karp there taps me into the wall, and I was not very happy with that. As you can see, we're just not able to catch the back end there. And, you know, he just completely pushed me, and I was not willing to have that as we go in the wall once again there. So Roman Karp was basically giving me back the position. It was Maverick is going to be able to go round the outside of both of us there. I go back round the outside of Roman. As I said, he did give me the position back from putting me out of shape there. And now we find myself back up in P3 here, right behind Maverick. But unfortunately, you know, we won't be able to get a move as we go round the outside, down towards the down the hill section of this track. But you can see, moving on to the final lap here, because we're still right behind Maverick. After we go back through the mountain section, you know, we're still able to gain 1.5, maybe even 2 seconds if someone does make a few little mistakes there. But Maverick, going into the wall there, he said it was controller, kept just doing that. He did it for the last couple of laps there, which basically just kept me in contention with him. But now, as you can see, coming down into the final couple of corners here, you know, if Maverick potentially runs a little bit wide, we could be looking like we could get a move on him there. And he does run a little bit wide, so maybe, you know, maybe coming down into the final couple of corners, we could go for a move on him here. We use all the curb we possibly can on the exit of the second to last corner there. Maverick goes very, very defensive into the final corner there. Not really too sure why he did that. But coming around the final corner, are we going to be able to get the run on him up towards the line? We use second gear, and unfortunately, we are not able to get back past him there, up towards the line there, guys. But still, you know, P12 to P3 there in that race. You know, very, very happy with that race there. You know, from last to third. And, you know, we can't really complain about that there in the end there, guys. But, you know, as I said, a very, very good race for myself there. Hoping, you know, that the second race we can do a bit better, guys. Unfortunately, I'm not going to leave it in this highlights video, guys, because the second race took over an hour long to do, because we had so many safety cars, guys. So that may be uploaded in the next sort of week or so. You know, maybe it might come out just before next weekend's race there, guys. But unfortunately, you know, only one race from this video. But as I said, you know, the second race just was an absolute shit show. So, you know, it's not really... So this video is already 12 minutes long, so I'm gonna try and get it out sort of midweek maybe, guys. But hopefully, as I said, that you have enjoyed this video. Very, very good race. Fighting all the way through the field there, so last to a podium there. Very, very happy with that. But don't forget to like, subscribe, guys, if you are new around here. And hopefully I will see you next time for Rio.
So promise that you'll catch me.